once again, I am with you, your course instructor. I'm Dr. Asif Nadeem, and recently we have discussed all of the complete review of the art of the personal essays by Philip Lopate. And today we will be covering 5 to 7 authors and essayists out of those, starting with the major writers of personal essays. Once again, starting with the Michael de Montaigne, who invented the essay genre. Actually, he is the creator of it by deciding he wanted to write a literary of the self-portrait of himself. He will be writing his biography over there. That turned out to be an impossible task. When you are being asked to write about yourself, it is the most difficult thing. But Michael de Montaigne, that birthday was 1533 and died at 1592, is one of France's most celebrated literary giants. The Hazlitt Lord Lopate to the Charles Lamb, Hazlitt's close friend and the distinguished essayist himself. Both these Englishmen referred to the Montaigne. They stuttered, they focused that 16th century French writer who is being given the credit with an inventing the modern things, essays, and giving its names, which drives actually the French verb, for example, essayer. Here is, I want to give you examples over here, that this essay, ESSAY, was actually taken from the French language, taken as the verb French language, and that means to try. Now, this to try is to try to deliver, to try to recall, to try to rebuild, to try to readdress, to try to revise those moments, revise those years, revise those incidents, revise those people, and put it into a paper by the help of pen. All these and all this type of mechanism was being developed by this an historian Michael de Montaigne. The earlier we have also mentioned. So he has been in an again and again with these examples moving forward. By the time I got to the Montaigne, on the other hand, the Lopate says, I was completely, means blindly hooked, bent on the form, means the quality over there. The Lopate had always seen a fond of first-person narration. There is an ability of confrontation, but it is a direct message between both in the writing, between fiction or even the poetry or even the memoir-liking pieces that begin from the publishing from throughout the regions of 19 back into the 70s and in his reading. So naturally, when he encountered the revealing with distinctive two different voices from the Lycles, Hazlitt and Charles Lamb and the Montaignes, he began to sniff out the similar writers that were focusing the pure content, the quality content, pleasure for their company. So discovery of these past masters of those essays deepened in their interest in the form of its roots, began teaching the examples of personal. When you are talking about, you will be starting from the personal essays. Overall, the courses that teaches you from literature or the University of Houston, where he was being a faculty member since means a tenure of 1980 up till to 1988. But when he started scouring the book catalogs from an anthology to dealing with and assigning to his students, he found nothing was beneficial, nothing was of an magnitude, nothing was to convey to with them. So he got a contract of those collections and later on discussed this research that was being published. And back into the 1994, that was the art of the personal essay, which takes the reader from a deep, clear-cut route from ancient reflections of Seneca to Plutarch through the modern ones of the Annie Dillard, the Gore Vidal. Lopete's collection discusses that there is a serious development of this essays genres as it becomes every more elastic. There is the expansion of you cannot judge the criteria of the radius of this personality. This is the first criticism as well as the new journalism of the 60s and then the 70s was being practiced by often the Tom Wolfe, or then Hunter S. Thompson, John Ditton, and the Norman Mailer. Now, these are multiple the key notes, the key figures, the writers may holding the key to its string in and power. Lopate points out the further two main categorizations. One was the old mindset, that was the traditions in essay writing. There must be that those traditions are being followed through various writers. So Charles focuses that, Charles Lamb, and are examples giving always dilating and expanding over something daily and minor, very little thing and having an expansion of that. He says, and then there are those like George Orwell and the James Baldwin who have grappled, who have tackled with the major themes of the day as well. The magnitude portions of those things, like the novel. The essay can engage with a topic that is unimaginable. Max Beerbohm, the Britisher, who was born in 1872 and passed away by the end of 1956. The Beerbohm is considered to be a renowned essayist who was also a brilliant artist as well. Further with the Virginia Woolf, who later on was being committed with the suicide as well, mentions him as the true successor of the tradition of Hazlitt, Lamb, and on the other hand, he was hilarious, especially in his willingness to portray himself from the disreputable or the mindlessness, mind disorders, and to push those boundaries of settlement, reduce affection, and expose hypocrisy. One must be dominating all these good things through the revelation of this literature. And the key concept behind the literature is to tell the moral portions of the stories, to narrate these things up to the level of the narrations. He discovered by a wider audience, led to that editing and write the introductions of the prince of minor writers. The selected essays from Max Beerbohm, published the last year as well. The George Orwell is, on the other hand, the next Britishers, who was born in from 1903 up till the 1950, writing from the perspective of decent everyone. Orwell tries something, a critique. All his life means autobiographical works to the positions of his own experiences within the large historical context, and the turmoility and the anxiety was what was going in that darker region and with the darker eras as well. Curiously, everyone finds his own Orwell. Every person second, the victim is like the George Orwell. He has the hero to the right and left, and everyone likes to quote him for his own purposes. Good prose is like a window pane. He says in his essay, Why I Write. I will give you examples over here. For example, why I write. There is a message to deliver. There is a content in order to be get popular. There is a canvas. There is a narrative to build. So every writer has three things in mind before publishing something. One is what I am writing, why I am writing, for whom I am writing. What I am writing, actually those are the experiences. Why it is that it does not happens to the next person. What I am victim, what I am being affected. Orwell said that if I am a victim, I am an affectee. My other creatures, my other fellow countrymen, my other savages, my other inferior generations or the countrymen never follow this dominance, never to be a part of victimization, never to be a part of this colonization, because you are not familiar that how your life becomes at the hands of masters, and those masters, they are very good at three things, and those three things are the negative things. They urge you, they seduce you, they scandalize you, they brutally operationalize you. So overall, this is an institutional operation that is done by the forceful, the powerful people, from the Britishers, the powerful to the powerless, from the masters to the servants, from the haves to the have-nots. So this is from the superiors to the inferiors. So Orwell has highlighted all this political agenda of demolishing this great empire, and emphasis is on one thing, that is the brutality by using force. When you are weak, when you are poor, when you are savages, when you are servants, when you are laborers, you cannot confront your master, because why? You are dependent on them. You are actually focusing on the money they are giving you. They are financially guarantors of yourselves. That's why they try to victimize you. They try to seduce you. They try to misuse your presence, misuse your all the expertise. And that is the reason behind becoming a very warm, renowned writer of the George Orwell. That George Orwell have already highlighted the darker portion of the powerful, for example, the people who were in the government, the people who were in that resilience. So overall, resilience is shown by this writer, and this writer has provoked every instance on behalf of the poor creatures. Moving forward, above all, Orwell's notable works are many, but they are full of truth. They are full of realities. They are tempering the honesty. They are discussing the pretty and the ugly impulses, as shooting out an elephant. As shooting an elephant. So this is an essay of shooting an elephant. How they shoot you. They considered you animals. They considered you the misbehaviors ones. So that's why they ask you that, because in the Burmese days, the police officer in Burma and the Burmese people who make his life a living hell, he was rejected, he was dejected, he was punished, He was tortured. He was full of pains from that region. So that's why he wrote these multiple things. So now it's time to stop over here. So stay blessed. God bless you. I will see you again in your next lecture. Goodbye. Allah Hafiz.